You're watching the first part of the filming section of the Witness Guide to Video Advocacy. It explains the basics of how to film, how to light, and how to get good sound in a range of situations. Filming is telling a story. Show where you are, what is happening, who is involved, and find a way for your viewer to understand why. Build a meaningful sequence with your shots. Before you even switch on your camera, think of why you're using each shot. Think of the impact of zooms, tilts, pans, and different shot sizes. Wide shots and zooms to show the context of where you are and what is happening, and to make linkages in complicated settings. Use medium shots to show what is happening and who is involved, and close-ups to show the powerful details that may give drama to your video sequence. Get telling details. Think of someone's face in a moment of surprise or fear, or a pile of discarded shoes from a group of protesters who ran in panic, or the moment of silence that hangs in the air after an interviewee says something powerful. Move closer to capture the action. If it's safe to do so, get in close. Your image will probably be better, your audio will definitely improve, and the viewer will feel like they are in the midst of the action. Shoot stable 10-second shots and make purposeful camera movements. Stable, still shots are good shots. Keep your elbows close to your body and your knees bent for stability. It's easy to underestimate how long you need to hold a shot for. Hold it for 10 seconds. This will feel like much longer until you get used to it. Never hosepipe. Be patient and purposeful. Don't wave your camera or cell phone around to get all the points of interest, as if you were watering flowers with a hose. Instead, pick a shot and hold it so that the viewer can see what is happening. If you need to change emphasis quickly, try using a swish pan, where you move your camera rapidly and deliberately sideways from one point of interest to the next. Get good sound. If you can, plug in headphones to your camera, since a camera microphone picks up sounds differently than our ears do. Your sound is as important as your image. Try to eliminate background sounds, particularly buzzing electrical noise. Lighting matters. Don't film people with the sun behind them unless you need to backlight them to conceal identity. The best light for filming is a cloudy day outside. Avoid direct midday sun. Filming with your cell phone. Moving close to film. Remember that a cell phone camera is less stable than a larger video camera, so take care to hold your shots and not to hosepipe. Be aware of background noise, since you may not have headphones to tell if there is distortion that could make your audio unusable. Move in particularly close for interviews. Filming when you least expect it. Sometimes, unexpectedly, you are an eyewitness, perhaps to a sudden attack or to a crowd protesting. Ask someone to watch your back so that you can focus on filming. Make sure you have footage of key protagonists and get the context through a wide shot or a pan or a shot from above. Ask witnesses to explain what is happening in the moment. You may not have the opportunity later. Filming secretly. Always assess the added risk of filming secretly. If people find out, you risk a violent reaction and you will definitely lose their trust. Always make it a deliberate decision and then practice so that you can do it well. Sometimes it makes sense to hide a camera in a bag or in your clothes and film through a hole. You're watching the the second part of the filming section of the Witness Guide to Video Advocacy. It covers how to film a powerful interview, how to get the right footage to go with it, and how to protect the people you film. People tell stories. Let people speak. Eyewitness testimony can be the most powerful way to tell a story and can also provide useful context to your images. Protect the people you film. Ask permission, unless you are filming perpetrators, and ensure you have informed consent. Think about how to protect their identities. With interviewees, consider filming them against a backlight or asking them to shade their face with a cap to protect their identity. Or don't film their face. Just film them from behind, from a distance, or film their hands. Or if you can, use an editing program to obscure their faces as soon as possible. Always guard your raw footage carefully. Ask open questions. A good way to get the full story is to ask questions that begin with why or how or just tell me, and can't just be answered yes or no. And make sure you don't talk over your interviewee. Get explanations. If you're in a confusing situation or are missing a key piece of footage, turn to an onlooker and ask them to explain on camera what happened. The rule of thirds. When you film an interview, try to put the interviewee's eyes about 2/3 of the way up the screen and 2/3 of the way across, and at the level of the camera. Background and close-ups. Take care with what is in the background when filming interviews. Then if you move in for a close-up shot, remember it's always better to cut off more of an interviewee's forehead than to cut off their chin. Shoot footage to explain your interviews. If an interviewee says something, think what pictures you can shoot to accompany or explain their words. But do one thing at a time. Don't try to get these shots while the interviewee is talking. If you are going to edit, get the images you'll need. Know your story. A shot list that you prepare in advance will help, so you know the pictures and people you need to tell your story. Make sure to shoot cutaways. These are shots of details, like an interviewee's hands or wide shot of a setting, that you can use to disguise cuts in your edit. You're watching the after filming section of the Witness Guide to Video Advocacy. It covers how to assess whether footage is reliable, how to edit effectively and ethically, and how to distribute your video to have an impact. Revisit your advocacy plan. Before you start editing or distributing, make sure you and your team and collaborators still agree on your goal and message. Make sure nothing has changed in terms of risk. Less is more. Editing is all about telling a story that is efficient, compelling, and truthful. Less is more, particularly when you're putting your video online, where viewers tend to watch shorter videos. How to work with limited footage. What happens when you have very little footage? Maybe you have just one shot of graphic violence, but no context. Think about these options. Film an interview to explain it. Use title cards to tell your viewer more. And remember that on some websites you can place contextual information around your video. Edit effectively. Compress time and space. You don't need to show everything. Tell your story effectively by creating meaningful sequences of images and words. But resist the temptation to make connections that don't exist. Edit ethically. Editing gives you power. By placing two clips side by side, you can make two people argue who've never met each other. You can misuse shocking images. You can change the chronology of events and create false cause and effect. Be truthful to the situation you experienced and make sure your collaborators are too. Sequence your distribution. Remember that successful distribution in one place can open up opportunities. Be ready. If your video is watched extensively online and is topical to a major news story, expect TV producers to want to use it in news broadcasts. Reassess the risk. Constantly reassess the risks to yourself, your organisation, and people you have filmed.